Hello. We're gonna talk about a word.
腐女子
Hey. Why are we hating? Or if you're a guy, you're gonna call yourself a fudanshi. Or if you're a girl, into yuri, himijoshi. You've seen them floating around in fandom posts, like anime TikToks or rants about how fujoshis always ruin everything. There's a lot of hate, and there's also a lot of misunderstanding. But there's also, I do see some people embracing the term, which, good for you. I used to be someone who doesn't like that term. I hated that term. I used to be like, oh, these people are bad people. But now I'm like, okay, well, I don't care. I can call myself one, unironically. I think it's time to unpack it all. So, I would suppose that we can get into the history and the hate and also where we are now. So we're gonna rewind this. The term fujoshi literally means rotten girl. It was originally a self-deprecating joke used on Japanese internet forums in the early 2000s by women who loved yaoi, or boys love, or also BL. They called themselves rotten because, in their words, they were indulging in dirty, non-mainstream fantasies pairing male characters together, often in romantic or sexual ways. This, however, was not mainstream. It wasn't cute at the time. It was niche, underground, and very, very mocked. But let's go back even further, because BL didn't just come out of nowhere. In the 1970s, Japanese film manga artists like Keiko Takemiya or
萩尾元
created early male-to-male romantic stories in a genre called
少年愛
or stuff like The Poem of Winds and Trees, 1976, which was soft, dramatic, romantic, and kind of, erotic. These stories were often emotional, poetic, and catered to female audiences. So it wasn't just a male gaze thing. This was not fetishization, or at least not in the same way people like to throw that word around today. It was women writing for women, often about emotions, love, trauma, or intimacy in ways that mainstream media just didn't offer them. And people loved it, so a subculture was born. Now, fudanshi, or rotten boys, came into the picture later. That means men who enjoy BL, either for romantic slash sexual reasons just because they like the characters and the stories. They've historically been even more marginalized, often caught between homophobia and fandom misogyny. They're seen as weird, or gay for liking gay stuff, or faking it for clout, which none of that's fair. Himijoshi, on the other side, are fans of yuris, which are girl-on-girl pairings. The term hasn't been around as long, but it's grown a lot with the rise of series like Madoka Magica, Bloom Into You, and the term is often used with affection or pride. But the debates about whether yuri is for girls or for men is still ongoing. Go figure. As the internet expanded, so did the global reach of BL, which did attract diverse audiences. Despite its growth, the BL fandom has faced criticism, particularly regarding the portrayal of queer relationships and the potential for fetishization. Some argue that BL often idealizes or misrepresents gay experiences, while others see it as a space for exploring queer fantasies and challenging societal norms. The fujoshi community has been both celebrated and criticized. Detractors claim that fujoshi fetishizes gay men and perpetuate harmful stereotypes. They point to the term's rotten etymology as evidence of its problematic nature. However, supporters argue that enjoying fictional gay relationships doesn't equate to fetishization and that the community offers a space for exploring identity and sexuality. So this is where it gets messy. As yaoi and BL became more visible, especially with the internet and anime becoming more global, so did fujoshi discourse, and the hate came hard and fast. People accused fujoshis of fetishizing gay men, being cringy, being immature, infiltrating every fandom with forced yaoi ships, and my personal favorite, rooting male friendships. Can't men be friends with each other? Yes, that's not the point, and they were roommates. First of all, people have been shipping male characters since before the word shipping even existed. People have shipped Sherlock Holmes with John Watson. I'm reading my script. I have no idea who these people are. I'm sure there's more. These have always been a thing. But suddenly when girls were doing it loudly and openly, it became a problem. That's not a coincidence, that's misogyny. Also, the fetishization debate, it's valid in some cases, yeah. Some content does reduce gay men to tropes or ignores real LGBTQ plus dynamics. That criticism is not inherently wrong, but the way people throw fetishization around like a weapon, half the time it's just code for you're a girl enjoying this and I don't like this. Lately, though, there's been a wave of people reclaiming the word. Yeah, I'm a fujoshi. I like problematic things. I write self-indulgent gay fanfic, and what about it? You do you, girl. This shift has been huge online, especially on TikTok, Tumblr, and Twitter. People are leaning into the cringe. Good for you, girl. Ignore the cringe and embrace it. Bringing back the early 2000s energy of I like what I like and deal with it. Why? Because it's liberating. Because people are tired of pretending that enjoying fictional things in a safe, tagged, created space is somehow a moral failing. Still, this isn't a clean slate. There's still fujoshi hate on the timeline. I do see it on my For You page and everywhere else. There are still people who think calling yourself a fujoshi is equivalent to announcing that you're evil. And yeah, sometimes people within the community do make others uncomfortable with how they talk about real world queerness. These things can be all true at once. But here's the thing. You can critique something without erasing the history and culture behind it. You can say, this trope is harmful, and still say, this community meant a lot to me growing up. I used to hate the term. I avoid it. I've flinched when people tried to slap that label on me. I thought it meant I was weird, pervy, and creepy even. Over the time, I started calling myself Fujoshi. I like BL, I wrote fanfic, I drew a lot of ship art. I was doing all the things anyways. What's the harm? Where is the harm? So why was I ashamed? Because other people told me I should be ashamed. And you know what, that's not my problem anymore. That's their hang up. Now I use the term. Sometimes jokingly, sometimes unironically, but I do get where it came from. I know what it means to reclaim a word people try to use against you, but nowadays it's kind of like a badge of like, yeah, I'm cringe, but I'm free. Be free, girl. Uh, at the end of the day, here's my stance. You can call yourself a Joshi slash Fudanshi slash Himajoshi and not be a bad person. You can enjoy BL, Yuri, or quote unquote problematic ships and still have empathy and awareness. You can be critical of tropes and still enjoy them. And you can let people enjoy things in peace without deciding they're evil based on a tag. Fandom isn't about, being pure. It's about expression, storytelling, and creativity, and even cringe. I think you'll live. I think people who are mad will live.